We are going to be working on some pen work today. So you just need a regular piece of paper, it doesn't matter size or anything, and you'll need some pens. You could choose one pen, it doesn't matter what type of pen you have. I am just showing you a variety of different options that I have here at home. You can use something called a ballpoint pen, which is a little itty bitty ball at the tip of it where the ink will roll around it. This is an example of a ballpoint pen. Some ballpoint pens are like those ones that have little caps on it, or it could be a click pen as well. The pens themselves, this one right here I just placed down, has a slightly blue tone to it, where the other ones have a more black tone. Here's a gel pen. Gel pens, the ink comes out a much more fluid paste, so it's a little bit darker, it tends to be. And here is another gel pen, but it is a waterproof. So there are so many different pens out there, but it does not matter what you guys use. I do highly suggest, however, to use a black pen if possible. Now on the piece of paper, I would like you to write the word hatching. Then below, you are going to write cross hatching. These are two different styles, and there's many more to learn later on in the future, but these are two different styles of shading you are going to be doing for this project. What hatching is where you take the pen marks and you go in a parallel line with one another. And so the line itself is going in the same direction as the other. Cross hatching, you do the same thing as hatching, however, then you go across it. It does not have to be at a 90-degree angle, it just has to be going across. This is not what you do. We do not make little plus signs, and that is a whole different thing. So please do not do plus signs. So for your assignment for today, what I would like you to do is follow along with me. So you have the word hatching and you have the word cross hatching. Write light, medium, dark, and gradient. Okay, I just wrote grad. On the light one, you are under hatching, are going to go in any direction, as you can see that I am doing. However, they all have to be the same direction. So they're parallel to one another, and do a light variation. When you do light, the lines themselves are going to be slightly further apart than on medium. On medium, you're going to be placing the lines closer to one another. As you're going across, as you notice, I have done 2 coats over this one. For the dark, you're going to have the lines as tight as you possibly can. I am almost doing the same thing as I did just for medium right now. However, I find it a lot easier, and then I like to just go over it again until I get to the value that I want. So here I'm going to go over it 3 times to get the darkness that I'm looking for. As you look at your sheet of paper, make sure your light, medium, and dark go in a nice gradient. As you notice, my medium is a little on the light side, so I'm just going to tap a little bit more lines in there, filling in some of those white gaps to make it a medium. Now gradient. Gradient, you're going to start out with light. So as you see, I'm putting the lines very far apart from one another, but still kind of tight. Then I am going to add a little bit of the medium in, but I'm only going to fill out about 3/4 of the space. So as you see, I am not going all the way to the right hand side. I am only going either halfway or 3/4 of the way with some of my lines. I'm trying to blend it in, so a few of my lines I'm going to make a little bit longer. The dark. Then I'm going to go for dark, and I'm only going to go about halfway to 3/4 of the way on this. When you are done, you should have a nice dark to light gradient. If you're noticing some little pockets in certain areas that need to be darker or need to be filled in, do that as you're working. You do not have to write dark to light. You should be able to see it, but I want you to know that that's what we're looking for. Now we're going to be doing the same thing with cross hatching. So you could write light below, or you just can leave it so you know that it's in the same alignment with one another. Starting with light, you're going to do the same thing you did with hatching, so it's going to be repetitive initially. Then you're going to go at whatever angle feels comfortable to you, or potentially it could be based off of your subject matter. My pen was just spitting up and not working, so sometimes you need to rub it onto another piece of paper that is working for you. So there you can see I crossed it. Now we're going to do the medium. Medium, I'm going to go at an angle that's comfortable for me for this worksheet. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go the opposite direction. I want to make sure my medium is something that I'm liking initially, however. Then go the opposite direction, and as you can see, I'm just going to go over to make sure I have a nice medium. Now for the dark, same exact thing. I'm writing dark above. You don't have to write it again. However, going at a hatching mark making sure it's slightly tighter. So I'm going to go back over it again, going the other direction. Each time that I am shading, I am actually lifting my pencil or my pen up from each direction. So every time I get to the end of the line, I am actually lifting my pen up. Don't sit there and just go back and forth with it. So if you were able to see it in like really close up, or if you pay attention, you could see that I'm lifting my pen up each time and going from the top down, top down, top down, top down. So I'm constantly making the mark from the same direction versus going top down and then down, up, top down, down, up, so that you're not just scribbling. As you see here, you can tell I'm going left to right. Every single mark is going left to right, so I'm lifting that pen up. Now I'm going left to right again. I am not going back on itself. Here I'm doing the same thing as we did with the gradient. So starting off with on above, starting off with it going all the way across as light, then we're going to go medium, and we're only going about 3/4 the way. Then we're going to go to darker, and I'm slowly just adding more and more pencil lines, filling in those white gaps. Once I get it so I somewhat like what I have with the gradients we are going to be doing frequently in our actual project. So make sure that you feel pretty confident within it. Now I'm going to make it even darker by going opposite direction. So here I'm just going vertically on it, as well as I'm lifting and starting from the top down each time. I am not going back and forth with the pen. As I went out, you notice that my marks are even shorter potentially, or even further apart from one another. As I'm getting into the darker areas, my pen marks are getting really tight and close to one another. And you do not have to make long strokes when you are working. So here I'm making tiny little strokes to fill in spaces that I feel are necessary. So for this, I would like you guys to do the dark to light for the gradient. For hatching, you're going to do a light, a medium, a dark, and a gradient. For cross hatching, you're going to do a light, a medium, a dark, and a gradient. You're going to take a photograph of this, and you're going to submit it after your block day. So on Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever your block day is. If there is time beyond, you can always start working on your pen drawing, which there is going to be a video as well for that. Here I am just writing about spit ups. Sometimes what happens is your pen, any pen, no matter what pen you use, sometimes will have a spit up. And so that's a little blob of ink that comes out. You just have to work with it, figure it out. You'll notice on the actual drawing that I do for you guys, I have spit ups as well. So good luck.